welcome back to Motor Archery. Frequently asked questions today, and we will have a lot, but we will upload them differently. This is a checker. This is used for getting, first of all, the brace height properly of your bow and the knocking point. And the topic today is knocking point on, let's call them horse bows. So you know what I mean. These are the bows, they have no arrow rest. They are the composite bows, the Turkish, the Hungarian, the Manchurian. Let's call them horse bows today. There's always a discussion on Facebook and everywhere what's the real description for these bows. I call them the horse bows, so you know what I mean. So the question was where to put a knocking point on a horse bow. So first you need to know knocking point and the purpose of a knocking point. When you see a normal modern bow, you have an arrow rest, and then you have here always the same spot. Then of course you can put a knocking point there, so your arrow will be always in the same position. So, and then you know that recurve bows always have the knocking point slightly higher than the 90-degree angle, but this is not the topic of today. I think there is enough information on the internet. So for this you can make a knocking point, and it's easy to get this done. So you have your knocking point, and then of course you can shoot really accurate because every arrow will be exactly in the same spot. To Mongolian bows, to horse bows, to this is Hungarian style. No knocking point. And why not? So what we have here is no arrow rest. So you rest your arrow, whatever style you shoot, Mediterranean or thumb release, on your fingers. So, and you have no reference point here, so it can happen that you hold the bow one time slightly lower or one time slightly higher. So what will happen? You hold it now extremely low, let's say, first arrow, and then you put your arrow on, and imagine you have now a knocking point. So, and you put it on here and you shoot, it might be okay. But next time you grab the bow slightly higher, because for no reason, but the knocking point is there, and then see what the arrow will do. So it will change the angle of the arrow. So that's why when you don't have an arrow rest and only a grip, and you not always have the same kind of grip, especially for beginners, with a knocking point it can cause problems. So, and I think in the ancient times they simply didn't have a knocking point. That's why I keep it simply completely instinctive. The first thing what you want to do, no matter where you hold your bow, when you bring on the arrow, make sure that it's at least a 90-degree angle and that you don't hurt your fingers. When you shoot like this from your bare hand, the feathers will cut your fingers. So this, I shoot now one to show you. And you feel the feathers scratching here. So what you want to do, simply bring on the arrow, 90-degree angle, and then simply lift the knock, let's say 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and knock your arrow and shoot from this position, and the feathers will not scratch. This applies for all bows. Here when you see from Ali bow, he has here this ray skin or shark skin or whatever skin. So this is the part where you should have your arrow passing by. But even here it can be different. So that's why there is no knocking point either. Same here. You bring the arrow on. This would be right angle. And then simply slide the knock 1/4 to 1/2 inch up. And then you have your preferred position. And I suggest that you simply do it instinctive and you get used to it, which position works for you. And then you will see, and of course when you get used to it, then you don't need a knocking point. If you want a knocking point on a horse bow, simply first make sure that you always grab the bow in exact the same way. Bring on an arrow, 90-degree angle, push it 1/4 to 1/2 inch up, mark this position and put above the arrow here a knocking point. Can be a metal ring, can be a bit of twine around, then you have your knocking point, and then shoot, and when it feels good, stick with it, then you have your knocking point. This is how I would put a knocking point on a horsebow. So if you need more information about this, simply let me know down there in the comment box. Thank you very much. No knocking point. And why not? Because the price tag is falling down? No. It doesn't stick. But I choose the non-sticking, the removable ones, because otherwise you have a hassle to... No matter. You know what? I have this sticky.